Okay, another quick overview instructional video by Pennsylvania Nissan Association. This will be kind of like a generalization of what I did to install my Vg30dett twin turbo motor into the chassis. Everyone's scared of the installation. I'm about 30 minutes in, so I'll explain my setup to you. So what I used is a combination of a moving dolly to hold some of the transmission, not much, just a little bit. And I used my jack, you can probably see it there, to lift the transmission up and position it so I could get the dolly underneath it. All right, back at the top. So you can get crazy with chains and tow bars and all that other stuff. But honestly, I like my junkyard straps. They're easy to use, manipulate. They hold a lot of, they hold a lot of tension because they are supposed to hold the body being propelled in an accident. So people could judge or say what they want to say, but I think it's really easy. Make sure your knots are good, and for a motor like a small 6-cylinder, which this is, I don't think it's a safety issue. So the biggest thing for this is that I recommend pulling all your accessories to the top of the engine so that they don't get hung up on the motor as you lower it in. That's the next thing I did. That would include power steering, pump, couple lines, but most of that stuff is tucked in. I make sure I can have access to everything. That's my starter cable, pretty much anything that I'm gonna need at the top of the motor, you wanna make sure you have access to. Or else you'll be digging, because this is a tight engine bay. Now, I'm a strapping buck, so it is somewhat challenging for me to get my 24-inch pythons down and snake them around there to get access to some of this stuff. So that's why I'm stressing, get it done now. All right, this is my turbo lines in here. I got my O2 sensors, plugs I pulled up. Anything that could get caught, like my wiring harness, I flipped the whole thing up on the windshield. I put my heater hoses on before I installed the motor, because it's going to be tight back on that firewall. That you already know. So I say get ahead of all that. The throttle cables are still taped. I had to clean up the engine bay a little bit, but for the most part, they're out the way. I can pull them up if I want to, like that. That would help. But for the most part, I'm ready to slide it in. I use the dolly because the transmission's on the long side. It hits the floor before I come out of the full extension on the boom. So it's easier for me to use the short boom and balance it out in the transmission end and roll it forward. I also got my Z on wheel dollies so that the car can move around a little bit. It gives me a lot of points of access. I like to be able to move the motor, transmission, and if possible, the rolling chassis. Okay? So if you got any questions or if I missed anything, give me a shout. But I'm probably gonna get back into dropping this motor in and surprise little wifey to show her it's done. Thanks again. And again, subscribe to Pennsylvania Nissan Association, or come link up with us over at one of these Nissan car shows. We like the one down in near Englishtown, and we do Carlisle. All right.